Yeah.
Good evening, dear teacher.
Good evening, dear classmates.
Well, today we are going to talk about our project. So, for me, Spencer, I'm going to confess you that it's my first time to make this kind of video. Of course, I have, in the past, I have been to my project, but I was only taught on the classroom. But this is my first time to make this kind of video. I don't know if you made those kind of video before.
I've never made those kind of videos. Actually, I've been at ICPNA since 4 months ago, so I'm not sure about what is the common things the students do at their projects. But I would like to introduce this project, this ALP, as the teacher it called, the Autonomous Learning Project, that is going to summarize all we already learned during this month. And it's going to be a kind of conversation. And as we were doing in the class, exchange ideas. The students that were taught by concur between them and practicing English will make us improve.
Well, that's not interesting because we take that class, an important class. For example, when the teacher told us about rotation formation, for example, that phrase for me the first time seems like to think about teacher and say how hustle is the teacher, because everyone has to stand up and talk about a specific statement or of cases. So according to that time, I think and I strongly believe that those kind of methodology for us is very important, because we need to talk about English, or we need to discuss about some of these cases that we have on our book. So it is important to us. I don't know what you think about this kind of methodology of the teacher.
Well, I'm convinced that using English and practicing it, you will improve your English. And when you travel or when you go to another place, you can learn more another English because you're using it. And for that reason, I believe that this methodological way to learn is going to improve us. As you said, we have to make this frequently if we want to improve.
Alright. Well, we are here and we are going to make that project. So take a seat, please.
Of course.
I can accept that birth order change our personality, because everyone is different. First of all, you know that. Consider what will happen, for example, if the oldest live alone and the youngest too. Both not necessarily will be like the oldest or the youngest. It depends on the situation, I think. Because when you live alone, you have more responsibility than the other who lives with parents. Whatever the age that you have. When you live alone, you need to have responsibility, because if you don't, maybe you are gonna get in trouble, or you are gonna be irresponsible. So what do you think about this
I
point?
partially agree, because as you said, many people is different, and we can't say that everyone is the same just because they birth in the order they birth, and parents will expect more from the oldest. They want them to be an example, set a good example, and their youngest tag along them. And also, children that are the oldest are supposed to be mature, and that affects them, because if you know that your parents want you to be mature and more responsible, you will have that imagine in your mind, and you will follow that image. And for that reason, I'm convinced that it would affect, but it must affect just a little part, but not all your personality, because everyone would be different. And for that reason, I said you that I partially agree, because even I'm convinced that anyone could be equal, and everyone is different. I'm also convinced that parents affect our personality when they take their decisions, or they hope more. Abortion is going to be permitted. And what do you think about it?
Well, this topic is very controversial because here we have to the church represent, and we have the legal lawyers who are offering this kind of laws in our country. But I think if the case is, for example, of sexual abuse, of course it could be permitted. Because I can't imagine how is going to be the style life of the baby in the future, or how is gonna feel, how is gonna be the woman who was abused. So that is a controversial thing that we have to think about before we consider that those kind of laws. But there are many people who don't want to talk about those kind of topic because it's obviously controversial. So I don't know what you think, but for that case, I strongly believe that it's gonna be great for that case, that specific case.
Well, and if the abortion is allowed in our country, I'm sure that many people don't going to understand the main idea of that law, because many people actually in our country is just they don't understand the importance of sexual relation, because you will make a life, and a life is something unbelievable. Imagine no one can do the same. It's a kind of power, and for that reason, I'm sure that younger people don't understand it, and they just make or do the sexual relations, and as again, as if they don't understand the importance it has. And I'm convinced that if you said everyone that it's permit, maybe they would don't understand the main idea, because are many women that are sexual abuse.
Yeah, that's here in our country. Younger women who were abused. So that is a big problem that I think the government has to prevent, and we have to be. First of all, as a family, we have to be careful with those kind of things, because it's very dangerous. Because that situation is very. By the way, that situation is gonna be worse if we don't. If we are not. If we are not sure about what we think, or what is the most important part of our life. So this is a controversial case. But my dear Spencer, I have to leave. It was nice to be here, and I hope that I will see you next time, or I will see you soon. I have to go.